Yo guys, I'm Niek from the Produce School and welcome back to a brand new video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make creative ambience FX. In my opinion, creative ambience FX is the most underrated element that you can add to your tracks to make a huge difference. It can add a lot of atmosphere and emotion to your track, and it's fairly easy to make them yourself. In this video, I'm going to show you step by step how to approach the creation of these sounds, and I will just show you some different methods how you can make different kind of sounds. Without further ado, let's move into FL Studio and show you how to make creative ambience FX. So the first method I'm going to show you guys is just taking a preset from any kind of plugin which sounds like a synth pad or something similar, and then just utilize that to add post-processing to it and come up with a creative sound. So in this case I just took a synth pad, which is a pretty simple saw pad from the pack Astral. Sounds really nice, and the first thing that you would want to do is add a long sustained note. And if you're making the FX especially for a track you're working on, make sure that this is the root note so that you can continuously keep playing the ambience throughout the whole track. So let's suppose G is your root note. You just make a really long sustained note on G, and if you want you can also add some harmonics or even turn it into chords, and for example do something like this. This would work. I don't want to spend too much time on it, as you just have to try to blend it in with your track to make it sound perfect. I added this to a mixer channel, and I'm now going to apply post-processing to turn it into a creative ambience FX. The first part that I want to do is some EQing, and this is really important as right now the sound is pretty prominent, it's a synth pad, but I want it to be way less prominent and I want to push it back into my mix. And one way that you can do that is by removing the low end, but also some of the high end. And if you want, you can then also boost some of the high mids if it sounds good on the sound. But first a low cut and a high cut. After that I like to add some creative FX, which in this case will be a gate. I'm going to use Grossbeat for it, and let's drag this into the playlist. And Grossbeat has a lot of cool gate presets, and you can also make something yourself, or you could do this with a volume automation or any other plugin. It's not that complicated. For example, if I choose this 1/6 gate, you could literally like make this in a volume automation as well, but this is just an easy tool to do it relatively fast. On the bottom left you can choose the mix, so if you don't want this rhythm to really like take over your sound, you can make it a bit less prominent. I like to make these kind of sounds pretty rhythmic, so I just keep the volume up quite a lot. Next up I like to add a delay, for example a fruity delay 2. And you want to put this after your gate, because I like it when the delay responds on the rhythm that you just added to like the ambient sound. Next up, you can add more creative FX. Something that I like to use as well is Shaperbox from Sound Toys. and it has a lot of options to get really creative, I could say. For example, this filter section of Shaperbox is a really cool like rhythmic filter plugin. I don't really know how to call it, but for example, you can choose this sine and change the rhythm to like 1/4. And then right here you can change the mix. And it just adds a wobbly effect that just makes it a bit more creepy. So you could also choose a really creative rhythm like this. But let's just stick with an easy one right now. And from now you can actually just choose a lot of stuff to manipulate the sound. So you could try to add some distortion. I'm not sure if it will sound good in this instance. For example, the distortion with some EQing afterwards. And one thing that will make this ambience really swelly and really ambient in general is adding a really huge reverb. So for example, if I have vintage reverb, and like that, you actually created an ambient sound already. I would really recommend to not forget this reverb at the end, as it will just make it much more swelly and much more ambient, which is what you want with these kind of sounds. Furthermore, I would just support to get really creative with FX or different combinations of FX and rhythms, because the possibilities are basically endless. Next up, I want to show you a little trick which is in Edison, and therefore you record a sound which could also be the one that we just created. So I'm going to do that for this instance. So you record it first. And then you copy it for a little bit. Something like this is fine. And then you hit Ctrl+P and you blur the sound, and you can do that multiple times. And now you have a very static ambient sound. So you remove the rhythm, but it's still really ambient, and it's not really like the pad that we used to. So you basically created another creative FX as well. And you can also like start manipulating this sound once again, which will really turn it into a completely new sound once again. I wanted to share that trick as the blurring function in Edison is really nice. Also, if you're using like vocal shots with a lot of reverb, you can use it just to make creative ambience FX. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys liked that I showed this little process of how to make creative ambience FX. I guess it will be really valuable if you didn't know about this yet. So really try to check this out and apply it in your own productions. If you have any questions, make sure to leave a comment. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you're searching for any high quality sample packs or sound banks, go to the link in the description. We have a huge variety of cool sounds for your productions. And for now, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I see you guys in the next video.